Welcome in, grab a seat, yeah, the crew's all here. It's another weekly moment where we all appear. Coffee steaming, hearts emoji rain. From sparks in the dark to spotlights unchained. Some roll in with coffee, black and bold at dawn. Some with happy hour cheer when the day is gone. Screens flicker lonely till the call lights up the feed. Beginners hit unmute, pros drop the seeds we need. Every week's a new beat, fear turns into flow. Stories shared like secrets in the afterglow, turning pain into power, dreams into the frame. Hour by hour, we're fanning the flame. Raise your mug, raise your mind, raise your voice tonight. We're a spotlight family, shining real, shining bright. Celebrate the wins, elevate the pain. We turn it into power again and again. Into your stage community, where your voice comes alive. Your vision runs free, yeah, we show up and thrive. It's a happy hour hangout, our coffee hour tribe. We laugh, learn, lift, mastermind vibe. When the chat lights up, hey, that's our way. Drop your gems, drop your truth in the Q&A. Bold and unique, we bring the heat. Your stage community, worlds apart now. Worlds apart. One spark in the quiet, now a rooftop roar. Solo screen to family, opening every door. No more hiding in shadows, we own this weekly stage. From coffee confessions to Q&A, we empower the dreamers hour by hour. We climb on you, your fire. It's transformation time in the Your Stage community, where your voice comes alive. Your vision runs free, yeah, we show up and thrive. It's a happy hour hangout, our coffee hour tribe. We love, lift mastermind vibe. When the chat lights up, hey, that's our way. Drop your gems, drop your truth in the Q&A. Bold and unique, we bring the heat, bring the heart. Your stage community, worlds apart, now one heart. Welcome in, grab a seat, crews all here. Your stage community, every hour, every year.
All right. Welcome to the Happy Hour Hangout. I am so excited to do these every week. And let me tell you, every week something happens. We learn something new. We get bigger. We get better. We get a few reps in. And this is essentially what the Happy Hour Hangout is designed to do, is to help people find a safe space, drop in, mix and mingle. Tell us a little bit about who you are, what you're building on Skool, what you'd like to be known for. And this is an opportunity to share the stage. I want to be able to share the stage and get each and every one of you an opportunity to build those reps going live, no matter what your anxiety is, no matter what's holding you back from going live. Live content is the best way to build trust, social authority, and let me tell you, the opportunity is evergreen when it comes to repurposing content. We are streaming live across YouTube. I do these weekly so that both members and non-school community members can join me on stage. And we do this across YouTube with intent. We want to be able to demonstrate in real time going live and what it's like and how easy it is and how comfortable it is. We're just having a conversation. Today, I start off just like every other live, I start off talking to myself, by myself, but I know that on the other end, whether it is now or whether it is afterwards, once the live event is over, we get to repurpose this conversation. For those of you who joined last week I experienced a service provider outage. I was halfway through the show. I had Lisa on stage with me, and my internet service just zapped. And that happens. Hey, those tech gremlins, they creep in at the best time. Well, best for them, not so good for us. But those are the moments of truth. That is the moment of truth. How do you bounce back? How do you get back in your lane and own up to the things that are outside of your control? Lisa, if you're listening, thank you for hanging out with me last week. It was an absolute pleasure. I switched the time up this week, and this is still experimental. We went back to back at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and today I moved it up to 6 p.m. just to see if there is any appetite for hosting a live stream at this time. I know some of you have asked, hey, if you did this on weekends, it might be a little easier for me to join, but 6 p.m. Eastern Time catches some people at the end of their workday and becomes a little easier to join. Others, you're knee deep in supper, homework, and other routines, and that's okay. Listen, we're going to keep testing this because this is the environment that we're trying to build here on your stage community. We want to build a place where people can plan, people can test, and try to get their message refined. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect. Listen, when I say refined, I actually mean refined. I don't want you to think that it has to be perfect before you go live. Start where you are, start with what you have, whether it is tech. If you're streaming on your phone, then that's where your starting point is. If you're talking into your mobile device or your laptop mic, then that's where you're starting, and that's okay. We will get you to where you expect yourself to be and where you're going to be hanging out with your community members. That is that is the important piece that we're trying to drive here. So for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Americo. I am a live stream coach, moderator, and show producer. I want to help you turn your live moments into content, into impact. And for those of you who are seeking revenue, we want to turn these events into revenue. Now, Lisa joined me last week, and she is an expert in marketing funnels. She hosts a school community of her own, Funnel Forensics, it's called. Go take a peek, take a look at what she's building there and how she might be able to help you with your marketing funnel. I really enjoy building funnels around live content. You've heard it, and you're going to hear it again. Building trust is half the battle, if not 3/4 of the battle. You want people to like, know, and trust you. How often have we heard the like, know, and trust? And how many of us believe in it, are trying to adopt it, trying to improve it? If people don't trust you, they're not going to want to buy from you. You have to give them reasons to want to trust you. And the first step to trust is lowering the barriers. Those barriers of trust. If you come in hard and heavy trying to sell and someone knows that they're being sold, guess what? That guard is going to stay up indefinitely until you give someone reason to bring that guard down. Let it down slowly. And you do that effectively with live content, event marketing. You build sessions where people get to come out, feel comfortable, ask questions. You know, Next to lowering barriers, you want to provide a safe space where people can engage with you. People can spend some time to ask questions, earn your trust. So in order to continue the conversation. So what we're doing here is top of funnel. It's about awareness and consideration, bringing those people to your conversation, making them feel part of the conversation. And that is probably where most of the heavy lifting is. Because once you do that, and once those barriers start coming down, and people feel that they're being heard, they're being valued, and the questions that they're asking are being listened to and answered, you slowly start to build trust. People will want to come back, they want to hear more. And at some point, they're going to want to hear what problems you're solving, what processes are you using to solve those problems, and what kind of return on their investment are they going to get from you helping them solve those problems with the processes that you break down. So live streaming is by far one of the best places to start because you can do this in a variety of ways. You can do a summit where you bring a panel of experts and talk about how they are able to help you. You can do fireside chats, just a one-on-one, an interview style, just to get comfortable, share a little bit about yourself as a professional, perhaps share a little bit about your business and your offering, and you do that slowly and gradually. You can even use live streams for market research. You have a product that you want to launch, test it out, take it to market, host a live event, and have people ask questions as to what they're looking for in your particular product. Because there's no point in solving a problem that doesn't exist. If there's no problem, if you are the only person seeing the problem, then you have to do one of two things. Either open the doors to help others visualize and see that same problem, and you can do that over live conversation, these live events, or you give up on that problem because you're the only one seeing it and you move on. And through market research, bring people to the table, have the conversation. And when you see and engage in real time and you're having conversations and you're letting people bring down their guard, ask you questions, you start to see and recognize that those who are surrounding you at the virtual table are nodding their heads, are agreeing that the problem that you're trying to solve is in fact a real life or business problem. So there's many ways that you can lean in and leverage live streaming. So whether it's for marketing, whether it's for education, or whether it's just top of funnel activity, you want to build awareness. And here, I didn't say sell as the first option. You don't want to turn your live stream and your live content into an infomercial. Yeah, there's those webinar style formats where, that it's one person representing a brand, a product, an organization, and they're talking to many people who registered to show up and be part of this event. And they go on for 30, 45 minutes, and then there's the offer at the end. Yes, that is also a viable way to lean into live events. I'm not going to deny that it isn't, because it is a tremendous industry. Event marketing makes up $2.3 trillion globally, and it's expected to continue to grow to 2.5 by 2030. So you can't turn an eye and say that this isn't a viable solution. Sure, there are content creators, marketing agencies who will still say that, your long form, your short form, your video content is adequate. And hey, I'm not here to argue that it isn't. What I'm here to suggest is that the live content should supplement. If you don't want to build a strategy exclusively around live content, you're going to want to consider supplementing it with some form of live component, because Your videos, they might get views, but do they get the calls? Do they get the bookings? Do they get answers to those who might be thinking of the questions they would have asked you if they had the opportunity to ask you live? Probably not. Long form content, short form content, there's a place for that. Absolutely. I'm not saying that there isn't, but when you start the conversation at a live event, guess what happens? Once your event is over, you want to continue to have that event do the heavy lifting, continue to work for you. And that's where amplifying your message through repurposing, you want to be able to bring the same value you brought live and redistribute that value to different channels and meet people where they're hanging out. So a live event should find its place in other content distribution models. Each of our events that I host and that I work with my clients, they have a strategy that goes live. We repurpose a long form, a blog, a newsletter, a summary of some sort, and meet people where they hang out. My three pillars are Substack, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Now, you may have three social media profile stacks that are completely different, but here's what works for me. I go live on all three channels. I'll go live, I'll multi stream on LinkedIn, on Substack, as well as YouTube. Those three assets are streaming live. I'm engaging with those who show up. Of course, there's some planning. If you want people to show up, you got to give it enough time. You can't just do a pop-up show. These I do as a pop-up because I'm here for my community on Skool, and I want to bring people together, and I'm still testing out the times that work best. But ideally, when you're doing live content as a strategy, you want to be able to stretch it out so that you give yourself enough time to ramp up, give yourself enough runway to promote the event, encourage people to attend your event, explain the reasons why they want to be part of this event. And once people register, you engage them in real time. And then once that event is over, you're going to repurpose that content, and you're going to what are we going to? Oh, I lost my train of thought here. You're going to repurpose that and redistribute it in short clips because there's an audience for short and snappy content. You can't turn an eye to that. But rather than creating content that competes with each other, rather than trying to come up with ideas for different types of content, you start live, you have a real time conversation, and that's where you're going to find your evergreen content. It's a real conversation that took place, it's a real event that took place, and when you redistribute that, you're now in a position to share and create not only trust, but now you're creating social authority because you're creating proof of what transpired, the impacts of what transpired. So I'm off camera here. Why don't I jump on camera? And here, before I do that, let's play a little bit around. All right, so we had a little bit of fun. For those of you who might be thinking, what am I using? I use Restream as my streaming platform, and I got to tell you, it is super easy to use. Hey, there he is. He's on camera now. Restream is the platform I choose to work with. Now, there is StreamYard, there is EV Mux, extremely easy to use platforms. And then for those of you who have heard of OBS, I'm not an expert in OBS. We do have a community member here, John Lacey. He's in Australia. He loves OBS, and he is the OBS guru. I got to tell you, I have some learning I want to do around OBS, because there's some fabulous things that you can do with OBS that perhaps you can't do as easily with these platforms. But some of you are here because you have apprehension because of the tech. But the tech we're using is so easy. And with the support you get here in the community, easy is stressful, even for those who have never tried something for the first time, for those who consider themselves not being technically savvy. We have a tendency of getting inside our own heads. Tech has become easier today to use. You just have to be willing to test it. You have to be willing to try it. And we allow for that to happen here on Your Stage Live. It's a community where everything is available for you to ask. If it's a question you have, for you to test. If it's something you want to do in a safe place before broadcasting it to your social channels. If you value your reputation and you don't want to be seen as someone who is confused or puzzled, hey, come hang out with us. Come test your message here. Come hear what your colleagues who are live-minded have to say and have to share. And when you feel that you're ready, and you don't be surprised if you're going to be told that you're ready, even though you think you may not be ready. That is the best part of community building. We naturally become our biggest obstacle. And I want you to feel like you're on top of the world when you go live. We've had guests. I've showcased and spotlighted guests here on Your Stage Community. I've also had people spotlighted on some of the other live stream series that I host. And at the end of it, people feel just relieved. Oh my goodness, I didn't think it was going to be that easy. I didn't think it was going to be that much fun. And I didn't know what to expect. And now you've put my mind at ease. And that's what we want to create here. So we are 22 minutes into this. I want you to hear a song that I'm going to cue up. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the song and what it was written for. Because we have an event coming up tomorrow. It is a masterclass. There is a small investment that is being asked, but the investment will outweigh the value. Let me tell you, it is a 2-hour session with Christina Segato. She is a community member here as well. And this is the beauty. And before I cue up the song, this is the beauty of what we're trying to build here as well. So going live is one thing. Having a skill, having a vision, and wanting to monetize that opens doors to collaboration. And Christina and I, we rolled out our first collaboration, and it is exciting to be working side by side with other community members where we each bring our areas of expertise and collectively put something together for our community members, for our customers. And we've tested it here. For those of you who are new to the community, you may have missed it, but we are going live tomorrow and would love to have you join. All right, let me cue this up and I will share with you a song that was written for. All right, yeah, we're going to go back to the screen where we have go live. Give me a second here.
You've been carrying wisdom like a loaded page, years of miles scars. been carrying wisdom like a loaded page, years of miles, scars, lesson engraved. You did the work, you earned the view, but the numbers haven't followed you. You've got stories worth more than likes, vision sharper than a million mics. It's not about grinding louder now, it's time to change the how. You don't need another hustle plan, you need a signal people understand. Build a brand that works as hard as you, let your truth turn into revenue. And it's not about being everywhere seen, it's about standing somewhere clean. Clear beats loud every time, this is your moment, your line. Be seen, be valued, be paid for what you already made. Step onto a stage where the moment's real, where live conversations make connection feel. From silent posts to voices that land, where trust is built when you're seen firsthand. Big ideas shared in real time air, no edits, no filters, just presence there. From employee thinking to owning the frame, packaging outcomes, calling your name. Right platform, right point of view, unlived moment, cut straight through. Build a brand that works as hard as you, let your story drive the revenue. It's not about shouting to the crowd, it's about clarity spoken out loud. Clear beats loud every time, this is your moment, your sign. Be seen, be trusted, be paid for the value you already made. You don't need to become someone new, just sharpen what's already true. When clarity clicks, doors open wide. Consistency builds the Build it clear, build it strong. You've been ready all along, not louder, just a line. Confidence meets design. If you're ready to step in the room where insight turns into bloom, I'd love to see you there. Let's build it
All right, so that song was written for a program that, as I mentioned earlier, Christina Segato and myself collaborated on. Build your brand and monetize your expertise. I'm going to share the screen here just a moment, and we're going to jump right into some of the details. All right, build your brand, monetize your expertise. It is a $50 investment, but what you're going to get out of it is the expertise of two wonderful people, Christina and myself, who are passionate about growing, but growing with intent, helping you build your brand. This masterclass was born, as it's written here. It was born from an unscripted conversation. Christina and I first met over on LinkedIn when LinkedIn had audio rooms. She hosted some fabulous rooms, and I just loved being part of those conversations. I felt the passion come through uh, her dialogue. And when LinkedIn parted ways with the audio rooms in December of 2024, live streaming became the go-to. LinkedIn Lives, everyone was kind of tossing and turning. What are we going to do? We loved the audio rooms. And I kind of just leaned right into it and said, hey, this is a differentiator. This is an opportunity for us to meet our communities where we're at. And over time, we started to recognize that there was an opportunity with her skill in e-commerce and helping people build their brand and their e-commerce business, along with my support in bringing those messages to social media platforms live and building stages that drive awareness. The two skills, the two areas of expertise worked so well together. And here we are. We're going to break down over 2 hours. We're going to help people who attend understand the importance of designing your personal brand uh, intentionally. We're going to talk about using live conversations to build trust. Now, there is no better way, and I'll continue to say this. Choosing the right platforms. I mentioned earlier my 3 platforms that work really well for me. Am I in other platforms? Absolutely. But when you're a solopreneur, juggling 7, 8, 9, however many platforms you're trying to juggle, it's not that easy. Focus on 3, maybe 4 tops that work well for you and spend your time there. You want to be able to spend time where your community hangs out most, but you also want to be able to spend time where those who don't know who you are can value the message that you bring. We're going to demonstrate the ability and the ease of building a repeatable pipeline. So important. You hear so many um, coaches, course creators who sell a program that is or feels like a square peg being pushed into a round hole. Want to be able to help you build something that is repeatable, but repeatable for you and not forced because it worked for someone else in a completely different environment. Turning those live sessions into long-term content and visibility, we're going to spend some time on that, and I'm going to demonstrate for you, and we're going to go over some analytics, some stats that back this up. So if you're looking forward to learning a little more about this, reach out, send me a DM. I'm more than happy to share that information with you. Once again, this is tomorrow at 6 p.m. And we look forward to hosting and having you join us. Okay, let's stop sharing this for a second here. Stop sharing. All right, we are back in full screen. Now, we haven't had anyone join us today, so this is indicative that perhaps 6 p.m. isn't as ideal as I had first thought. So, more reason to want to come back next week and come back perhaps on a Sunday. I think I'm ready to start a Sunday edition of the Happy Hour Hangout and see if the feedback that you're sharing with me is, in fact, something that you're prepared to live up to. I will invest and open my calendar to a Sunday evening in exchange to be able to be present and have you present here at the Happy Hour Hangout. Now, why don't we take a peek at our community? I'm going to share the screen again with you. Let's jump in. All right, so we were trying to get a hold of Mita, and here's our community landing page, why don't we take a moment to celebrate our leaderboard? Our 7 day leaderboard has Lisa, Tracy, and Aussie leading the pack, and Sean and Deneen, fabulous contributors in the 7 day run. Now, Deneen, I invited you, and that invitation remains open. I'd love to hear the story, the narrative behind your experience that transpired over the last few weeks. You were in the running and you came in the top 5 entrepreneurs in a competition that had some wonderful prizes and some wonderful um, features. Uh, a cover on Entrepreneur Magazine. I know you're upset you came in fifth, but listen, I'm sure those perhaps hundreds of entrepreneurs who applied would just absolutely love to have come in the top 5. And you're one of them. So if you're ever open to speaking and sharing that story, I'd love to have you come over and sit with Jay Pasqua and myself. We host a storytelling journey, a live stream episode that airs alternating Thursdays, and we're going live this Thursday evening. More to come on that. We'll share some details. But let's take a look at the all-time leaderboard. Sean Ziem, the connection machine, uh, fabulous professional, marketing professional, also has live events of his own and podcasts that he hosts. Carrie Willis, if you don't know who Carrie Willis is, you're going to love her energy. And she is a financial advisor. And if you haven't got a financial plan or believe that you can't retire comfortably, reach out to Carrie, connect with Carrie. She has a wealth of knowledge. And if she can't help you in the state that you're in, I'm pretty sure that she can introduce you to someone who might be able to help you, who is as knowledgeable as she is. Keith Keller, our bronze medal winner. Keith hosts some fabulous shows Mondays and Tuesdays here in the West. It is Tuesdays and Wednesdays for him in Melbourne, Australia, but he is the audio sound check professional. And he'll be going live later this evening at 8 p.m. Come join us. I will drop the show link in the community. You're not going to want to miss it. You hear me often refer to, hey, we go on for hours, sometimes 4, sometimes 5. Those 4 and 5 hour marathons are hosted in Keith's room. Keith just has a knack for drawing out wonderful conversations and bringing fabulous expertise and members to his stage who are just stand-up professionals. And we enjoy having these conversations, enjoy it so much that we end up 4 or 5 hours in, it's like, oh, I guess we should go to bed now because it's 12 o'clock, it's 1 o'clock, and it's middle of the afternoon for him, but he has us so wound up in wonderful conversations that you don't want to leave. That's how events are. All right. We have someone backstage. Let's see who we have joining us. Amy Powers. Amy, give me a second here. We're going to bring you up. I'm going to stop sharing the screen. Amy, are you there?
I'm here.
Fantastic. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. Is there anybody else here?
The
Can't
right
see.
now, right now it's you and I. In
Oh,
fact,
okay.
when I look at the camera, it's just me because I don't even see a avatar of any kind. It's fine if you don't want to come on camera, and it's fine if you just want to have your voice
Trying to
heard.
see if I can
Sure.
blur it out from my my bedroom.
That's fine. No worries. No judging. Welcome. I was just wrapping things up, and I'm glad that you jumped in because now we get to keep the conversation going. Why don't you share a little bit about who you are and what you're doing here on Skool? Would love to hear what's what's happening
I
in your
guess I'm
power
not
space.
part of your school, but I'm in another school group that's called, I think, the Unfirables. I think that's what it's called.
The
But they switch days when they meet, live. So I haven't been to that in a while.
so
Um,
my
but
doors are open.
I
My doors are open
yeah.
to members as well as non-members. So I appreciate you jumping on as a non-member because this is an opportunity for us to mix and mingle. It's an opportunity for us to network and to elevate and amplify each other and what we're building. Do you own a Skool community of your own?
No, I don't. No,
No.
I think I heard about it probably sometime last year. I wasn't aware of it prior to that.
And what's your
There's lots
experience
of
been?
um I mean, because I don't have it saved as a tab,
Hmm.
like I'm not on there unless something pops up in my email and I'll be like, "Oh, I need to go and check out whatever that comment was or a message that was sent to me." I don't have an app on my phone for it or anything like that. So I just forget about it sometimes.
Fair
Um,
enough. There's many people who don't even know what Skool is or who Skool is and who it's built for and who it's designed. Listen, I'm only a few months into this, and I'm just ecstatic with what I'm able to build, what I'm able to help others with, and the like-minded people here, the philanthropy people just wanting to help other people is like something I've never experienced. And I know community and social media, completely different ecosystems.
yeah.
But I'm so glad that I'm here and I'm building a safe place for people who want to go live, are curious about going live, but kind of get in their own heads. Your stage community is here. We want to provide coaching, mentorship, and support so that people can build that confidence and getting in front, talking to their community. Because I keep saying this, and you're going to hear me. If you follow me, you're going to hear me say it over and over again. There's no better way to build trust than in real time. And if you can't do it face to face, then you got to do it this way.
Yeah, and I miss the old LinkedIn audio rooms because I was a big part of those and hosted one of my own. And then is it Margaret hosted one for my son like September of
Hmm.
2024, I think it was. So I just kind of miss those because it had that like community where you have conversations with people and it was a different conversation all the time. It wasn't always about one thing or another. It was just whatever and sometimes it would go off into rabbit holes, right? It was just
And
kind
that's
of,
fine. That's
yeah,
perfectly fine, right? Because when you're chasing an algorithm, your message tends to be rinse and repeated so often because you're trying to appease an algorithm. But when you're talking live, you start your conversation, you may publish and promote it as, the subject matter X, and you get so entrenched. And when the audience and the community comes together and it just veers off into a different lane and it just becomes a healthy conversation. You're not worried about algorithms. You're just worried about connecting and making sure that you provide a space where people can just connect and be human and not have to worry about those algorithms, those pesky algorithms.
yeah. And you don't get the instant like feedback of, I mean, when you're doing this live, you have the give and take. It's a little bit harder when you don't have the visuals, but um, in the conversations that are live as opposed to the polished ones on LinkedIn, um, you need to feed off of whatever that next comment is or whatever subject is being talked about instead of trying to get yourself in front of the right people and hoping that somebody will notice you.
Yeah, and there is some planning and some strategy that goes behind that. If you want to get the right people to your conversations, you got to give it enough time. You got to nurture that, and you can't expect to have a pop up event or an event put together in a 1 week turnaround time and expect enough eyes or the right set of eyes to land on that. But we do this in short spurts. We do this in short runs, and we love doing them. Whether it's on camera, off camera, I love the audio rooms. At the end of the day, when you think about how those big enterprises are planning out their business, they always consider a mobile first strategy because people are always on the go. And with mobile, people aren't always looking at their phones, listening more than they are watching. So if you're just bringing your voice and you're bringing your voice in real time, that is as valuable and as rewarding as you know being on camera.
Yeah, because
Then,
in the old
right?
audio rooms, I just have it playing while I was like making something to eat or doing something else, and just carry the phone around with me while I was listening. Not always
So,
participating, but yeah, it
the-
was.
but I love that because people bring you along with them, and you touch on that, and I so often heard people, yeah, I'm cooking, we're having dinner, and you become part of that person or family's routine when it's real time. When it's long form or short, any form of content, video content, it's lost and probably never to be seen again. But when you catch someone's attention in a real conversation, they'll stick around much longer than something you wrote.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's not to suggest that long form doesn't have its place. Every time I go live, I will take the conversation that I had, people who joined me, and I will repurpose this. I will create a long form blog article that will find its way to either Substack, my Skool community, as well as LinkedIn. There will be a home that will meet someone through redistributing this content. I will meet someone who perhaps missed the live, isn't about the live. You know what? Just give me the summarized written version, and I'll decide if I want to go listen to the playback. It's about finding something that is valuable to everyone. But I will stand behind starting live and then building out. I used to compete with myself to come up with content, live content versus written content, when all along the written content was embedded in the live conversations.
Yeah, and I used to I haven't done so much here in Texas because it seems to like rain every weekend. But when I was living in Arizona, I would go out to the local lake, which is in town in Tempe, and there's a lot of foot traffic there. And I'd go out with my signs that would say something encouraging and just to invite conversation. So I'd have that live conversation, then I would share little tidbits of it just in text on my Instagram or occasionally on LinkedIn. So yeah, I was kind of repurposing the content, but I never wanted the live conversations to be recorded because I always wanted it to be a safe space for people to say or say whatever they needed to say or connect in whatever way they needed to connect. So, um, but a lot of people don't come out in person, so there's a way to connect with the people who don't come out or they don't live near you.
And that's fine. All right, so I'm going to get off my soapbox because I invited you specifically to join so that we can spotlight and help you. And in return, I want to be able to redistribute and repurpose this message so that we can get eyes on you and we can get eyes on what you're asking for. Why don't you share a little bit about what you, I guess, messaged me and others? You're looking for help. You're in Texas and you're
Yeah,
open, right?
just like I need just eyes where to help me find the people that I'm not already connected to that might have something in the way of full-time contractor, freelance, whatever you want to call it, fractional work, anything like that. So the document I shared with you is like my fifth or 10th iteration of it. And I built it through Claude because I've had a lot of conversations with Claude over the last couple months. It's helped me with some ideas for postings, changes I can make to my resume after I've seen a post from somebody that is trustworthy of things that I could change on my resume. And then this idea I came up with, and Claude just kind of put it together in a format that's concise and easy to understand, that it's hard to explain to people what it is that you're looking for. So I put it in a print format.
Would you be opposed for me sharing this here live?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. Let's. Okay, that's not the PDF I wanted to bring up. Give me a second here. Stop sharing that document. All right, let's try this again. Yeah, that's the one we want to share. All right, so let's zoom in.
Yeah, I told Claude I can't read it. And it told me, well, I can't make it bigger for just you. I said, I understand that. But it had like a 9.5 font. And I'm like, that's a little too small for all of us people with old eyes. So yeah, I made it go from 9.5 to 10.5.
So I noticed that it's not written as a traditional resume. It's more of a summary, and you title it "Who I Am and How You Can Help." So
yeah, so I have a resume that's totally separate. A few times I've shared this, and they're like, "Oh, let me give you some feedback on your resume." I'm like, "This is not a resume. This is for somebody who's not in any of the industries I've ever worked in or industries I'm interested in, to go through their mind and say, do I know somebody in this industry?" I also tried to explain the types of roles that I'm looking for in more than just title terms, because not everybody understands what client operations is or account management if they're not in an industry that has those kind of departments. So I didn't really use the term operations in the jobs that I had previously, but they would be classified as operations and not sales. So last time I made this document, I actually shared it with my pastor because he said, okay, well, let me know how I can help. And so after I sent that to him, I thought maybe I should explain what operations is. So this was my whole thing that I did today, was tweaking the one I had done last week to make it a little more concise, a little more anybody friendly, so that it's nobody has to ask a lot of questions. I told Claude that I don't want people to have to come back to me with questions that like I should have answered in the document. And so tried to come up with, like, I also added like what client operations is not. It's not, customer service and sales and those kind of things. So I don't know what people misconceive what operations or account management are, but had Claude help me kind of figure out some of those so I could include those, because I know when I try to help people finding jobs, like I know one guy, I've tried to help. I'll tag him or send him jobs all the time in social media management, but I don't always know what form of that is what he's really, good at. So I could be sending him something that is not even in his wheelhouse. So this document helps people understand what I am looking for, what I'm not looking for, ways that they can help. and the type of industries that I'm interested in, so that they don't send me somewhere and waste their time on something that's not really a place that I want to spend my time. So
Yeah.
this
Kudos
is
to
what the
you.
document is.
Kudos to you, because this is something that is seldomly done. Very often we see those green banner posts, hey, I'm open to work if you can help out. And it kind of just is left at that. But you took that extra step. You did your research. You leaned into AI, and Claude helped you out, creating a summary, which is wonderful. And this opened up the opportunity for you to join me here on stage. Now, we may not have people, as many people as we want listening live, but I'm going to lean into this, and I'm going to turn this asset into a post to give you the visibility that you so deserve. Listen, I know it's tough out there. There are so many of us, uh, just jockeying for that next position, and we got employed people who are looking. We got unemployed people who are looking. We got unemployed people who have been unemployed for years, and you know they're making tough decisions on how to keep a roof over their head and food on the table. And I tell you, when people reach out, I want to help. I've been on both sides of job loss. It's no fun, and it's not any easier telling someone that they're being let go as it is sitting and hearing that you're being let go. I got laid off 3 times post pandemic, and it took a toll on me, because you feel it's like, well, I can't do anything right. You're trying to reinvent yourself, and age might be working against you, despite what people saying. Ageism isn't a problem. Let's not sweep that under the rug. That it is a tremendous problem. Skilled labor. We've got more skilled people waiting and looking for work,
Mhm.
and then you got graduates who are green and they're just anxious to work, and some of them are having difficulty. So um, I'd love to help anytime someone reaches out. I do what I can with the community that I have. Of course, there's never any guarantees, but I can assure you, if we all put in similar effort, we might inch or help someone inch closer to an introduction or to an opportunity, opposed to just giving a like emoji and then calling it a contribution and wiping their hands clean.
Yeah. Yeah, and I didn't get laid off. I actually quit a job because for 3 years I was not happy with my job. And for 3 years I tried to find a new job. And when I couldn't, I gave up on Arizona and quit my job and moved to Texas and live with family until about a month and a half ago. And so sometimes you have to move states, right? Because the opportunities aren't there. I mean, Phoenix obviously has lots of opportunities, but just didn't have the right ones. And the cost of living was just getting worse and worse. So it's not that like the cost of living here is any better in comparison to what you get paid, but I have family here, and I didn't have family in Arizona.
It's
Um,
also important to be surrounded by family and loved ones, because they become a wonderful support system if that's available to you.
yeah. So yeah, I've been laid off once in my life, and snap right back to another role. But that was, when was that? Like 2003 maybe.
Yeah,
So quite a long
completely
time ago.
completely different job market. My first layoff was back in 2015, and within weeks I was up and running again.
Yeah.
My most recent layoffs, like the first and second post pandemic, also a very robust job market. Walked out of one into another. And then by the time the third time I got laid off, it's like everything came to a grinding halt. And there's people, you're competing with AI. Positions are becoming redundant. And even the recruitment process is heavily weighing in on AI. I've had interviews with uh, AI bots. Like, you're not even talking to people anymore. So you get your resume past a AI screening. only to meet with another artificial intelligent conversation. It's recorded, then I guess it scans how you responded, your tone, and it's completely different. Uh,
It must be like
yes.
acting to like CGI characters with just like little green dots, right? Like
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever had to do that, but it just it seems like it's hard because you don't have that feedback of, you know, what the person looks like, how they felt about your answer or whatever.
so that's part and parcel why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I think, grassroots conversations with real people are craving this. You know, even if it's vulnerable, we're gonna fall on our face, and I've been known to, kind of get out of my lane, but it's how we respond in real time that people will appreciate who we are and what we stand for, and how humbled we are when we make, errors and mistakes in real time, and how we respond to those. So I'm all in on live streaming, whether it is on or off camera. It is by far one of the things that keeps humanity connected in a tech rich world.
Yeah, that's a part of the reason why I was doing that, the stuff with the signs in Arizona, and I've attempted to do it here, was that I was missing connections with people because my kids are grown, right? I've been an empty nester for about 10 years, and my whole life was my kids. And so once my kids were gone and I moved states, I lost, you know, that group of people, my
Mhm.
church, like, and had to start over. And everybody had husbands and kids with activities and commitments and stuff like that. And I didn't. I was available. And so I was like, but nobody has time to hang out. So maybe there's other people like me that just want to connect with people in person. And so I was like, well, I can do it. If nobody else is available to do it, I just have to start it myself. So if something doesn't exist in whatever format you want, sometimes you have to create it for yourself. So I decided to do it
Absolutely,
for myself.
absolutely. So uh, I will look to get you in touch with connections in Texas. I don't know how far you're willing to travel, because I know Texas is a pretty big state. Uh, but feel free, jump in. I believe my settings are, and if they're not, let me know. I will make my network available if there's someone in Texas or the surrounding area which you reside that you'd like me to introduce you to. By all means, I am happy to do that for you.
Yeah, and I'm in San Antonio proper. So anything in that metro area, but I'm open to remote because wages are so low here that $16 an hour isn't really going to cut it for me.
Yeah,
When
fair
I was
enough.
making, you know, like almost double that. So I'm, yeah, open to fractional contract, freelance, part-time, just even to get more skills and more experience. Because my last job, we didn't use any like real CRM tools. So I see a lot of operations jobs are requesting that you know certain CRM tools, which without having the customers and clients to actually interact with that system, I don't know that I'd learn it very well on my own. Like I like doing stuff by doing it.
Yeah, best
Learn by doing.
best way to
So
learn. Yeah, best way to learn.
yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, we are at the top of the hour. I'm glad you had a moment to jump in and join me here on stage. And is there anything you'd like to share before I close things off? Um, where can people connect with you? I know you're on LinkedIn, you're on Substack, anywhere else?
I'm on Instagram. So when I do go out in the community, I have an Instagram for that. It's smiles with underscore Amy. And so that's my volunteer account. Then yeah, Substack I think is, what is that one? Scroll to the bottom of that document. It is Amy Powers Thoughts on Substack. And then I can be found on LinkedIn. And I accept most connection requests on LinkedIn. I'm not as open on other places like Facebook and
Yeah.
LinkedIn. I'm
Hey,
like,
listen, you got to be careful. Even with LinkedIn, I no longer let just anyone in, and part of that has a lot to do with how the new AI algorithm is looking and measuring our activity and who we surround ourselves by. I'm not chasing the algorithm, so now it's important more than ever to connect with people who are aligned who we are and what value we want to bring, opposed to just letting people in because a tremendous follower count used to carry some weight. It doesn't carry that same weight anymore. So,
yeah.
anyway, this has been a fantastic conversation. I don't know if you were listening on the sidelines before we came in, but nonetheless, the time that you spent and the time that you invested to join me, it is always grateful. I am always humbled by people wanting to join me, and typically it's I do these every Monday. I do it to spotlight Skool members, Skool owners, and just hang out and give people an opportunity to go live and watch how I demonstrate how this conversation will find its way into different ecosystems. So if we're not following or subscribed to each other on Substack, you'll probably um, find me because I will tag you
I
in
think I might be. I'll
my,
look.
my pieces. Right? Yeah, I think we are.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. I will tag you, and you will be part of one of my Substacks.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Let's close things down. Thank you, Amy, and thank you for. I think we have one listener over on YouTube at the present time. I normally widen this out. I reach out to people on LinkedIn, stream on LinkedIn and Substack, but this one I try to keep intimate um, by design, and it's intentional because this is intended to now find a home as I redistribute and repurpose this message. So stay tuned. More to come on that. I'll close the room down and thank Amy once again.
Thank you.
Bye for now.
Bye.